Hi guys, and welcome to a new series I'm going to be starting on the channel, which is going to be called Let's Build a Hobbit Village. A nice, really simple one, or hopefully simple one anyway. I've never done Hobbit style before, but we're going to see how it is. So I'm building this one on my server, so if you guys want to check it out, you actually can. So if you want to actually get to this place, all you have to do is /warp, and then you have to do IOD underscore, and then this actual town that I'm going to be calling it is Stillpond. So this little town is going to be Stillpond, and that'll take you right to here at the water's edge. As I kind of, build the town as well, I will change that to the entrance of the little town itself. So we're on this kind of river here. I'm actually on the Isles of DakrCraft map. If I just go into here and grab my map up, there we go. So this is the Isles of DakrCraft map. It's huge, and actually I'm going to grab up this one instead. There we go. Now you know where Stillpond is. So I've started to name all the different places. So in relation to everything, it is on these plains over here. It's between the Everleaf, which is this crazy, really extreme hills kind of area, and also the forests of Adenor, which is the elven kind of place, as well as having all the dwarven kind of high pine, very piney forest above. So that's where I'm actually going to be building it, near this actual little kind of lake here, I guess. So, well, I say little lake. It's actually a pretty big lake. So I am going to have some boats. This is going to be like the old, well, I'd say the old style of doing a let's build, but it's going to be the kind of typical style of a let's build, where I just go through step by step and what I'm thinking about and all of that kind of stuff. So hopefully you'll pick up a lot. Now, like I said before, I haven't done Hobbit before. It's going to be interesting though. So what I'm thinking of doing is having just a little house here, which then leads down to a small dock, possibly on this side. And what I've kind of got is just a couple of hills here, but I think I'll also on this side build a couple of hills. I'm probably off camera going to build a river going down here. There is a natural way where a river can go, so I'll probably put that in so that then we can kind of have bridges going across to enter, Stillpond. But let's get started anyway. If we just clear back some of this, and apologies that the chat is there, but there's not too much I can do about it. Or I can. Actually, if I just quickly turn off chat. There we go. So I've hidden chat, which means if I need to do any commands, I'm buggered. But it doesn't really matter. So I'll see if I do need to do any commands, then I'll be able to do those. Okay. So if we have like a little hill here, I'm thinking of having the entrance to it on this side, and also having like a window. I might actually build some of it. Come of. This is going to be interesting. I've had a couple look at kind of looks. One of my subscribers was really nice, and one of the guys on the server was nice enough to show me his actual Hobbit homes as well. So I've got a kind of rough idea of at least his style. Mine's probably going to be quite a bit different, but they're quite similar anyway. So thank you to, I think it was Nick Goss which sent me that. So if we just do something like this, I'm going to put this in behind just to create this like little circle. So I'm using the yellow stained clay and put in these. That'll give us our little circular part. I think probably I'm going to need some sort of pillar, definitely, just to kind of frame this a little bit better. So if we go up with a pillar here. Now, most Hobbit homes have this kind of slanted roof at the front part anyway, but what I want to do is I want to have like a slant on this side, go up, and then kind of go a little bit more gentle on this side so I can get a nice window in. But this is where I'll have the entrance. But it's definitely going to have a door in there. For the time being, what I'll do is I'll just grab some gravel, put it on the floor, and put it in the door. Okay. So then if we go across here a little bit. Now, one thing I did notice while looking at the kind of Hobbit style things, usually they have wood underneath, but they don't have it on the outside, weirdly. But since that's going to be on the inside, I'm going to actually try that. But I might instead put, like flower boxes and things in front of that. So then, if we go, we have a window, and if we're going to have a circular window like this, usually these actual windows on the Hobbit homes are also circular, but that's going to be a bit difficult. If we do it too big like this, it'll look a little bit weird. Now we could always do something like that, like this, to get those really small windows, and of course we could do that down like here. It does mean that we're building on odd, but if we try this out anyway, oh, not that, there we go, and then cut out those, but then we'll have to cut out those as well. Yeah. Not going to do that one then. But if we just try out... Right, let's just get the basic walls done. I think probably just circular, like normal windows there. And then continue this wall going across. And let's see what kind of stained clay. Now, probably just clear white will do. Possibly. We'll try that anyway. I'm just going to cut quickly behind here as well. Let's have a look. There we go. So then we got the windows in there. This can then be left. I want to have 3 blocks in total, so I will pull all of this above, kind of on top as well. And I'll probably build, well, some of it will be bigger because we've got this bigger area here. Probably the entrance I want a little bit bigger. That's probably what I want. So if we just go for this, I'm going to have mine going on, kind of going forwards. I want to kind of have this. Try out this anyway. And that would go down to there to cover up this side part here. Maybe even on these windows. Have it raised like that and then goes down. Yeah, that actually looks quite good, I think. This looks alright. It looks okay. Yeah, I think okay is probably better. That means that can sit on top of this if it needs to, but I think I might push some of it back a little bit. So that we have like grass and things there. It does mean we can put that in, and we can build this up. And even possibly across. Maybe. I'm not too sure about already. Maybe just putting wood there. So that, I think that makes it look a little bit too big actually. If we push that down then, if we go down one more and then try it, so it'll be going on this part. 1, 2, 3, 1, and then this one will be down, or there even. So that's all at this level. That might look a little bit better. We'll try it. Try and see if that works as a ledge. Means then we don't need those blocks, which is good. And probably on the inside of this part, if we did have, for example, the grass going up to this point, and then it at least looks like the bank is almost holding it back. Kind of like this. Hopefully that makes sense. But there we go. So then if this was the hill going up, it kind of then looks alright, and then obviously would smooth out all of these little parts here. That would give us that, and then we can also put in another pillar on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. 3 up to there, and put him on there. So I'll try that. I'll probably change that out just for the time being into a style like this. And I kind of want to also, I might put in, instead of those parts, put in, stone stairs instead. So just have a little bit of difference in kind of colour variation. Okay, so then we have that. That'll give us an entrance. That'll give us a couple of windows on the side. I was tempted as well with this to kind of almost extend this out as if it was a normal part of a house and not in the hill. Not sure if that'll work or not, but I'm going to leave it for the time being and have the entrance almost going back first. So you go into here and you have like an entrance hall possibly. I think that might work. So if we cut this back like that there. Yeah, that's quite cool. Now, don't really do that, do I? And again, that's okay. I might do as well. I have seen Jamsy does this sometimes. If we just cycle through these, let's get that one. Maybe putting those. And that doesn't really work with those. Of course it doesn't. But then in here we can at least do like a bigger circle. Maybe. Even just leave those for the time being. We'll put in something else in there for the time. Well, in a bit anyway. Okay, so well that gives us a little bit to work with. We can also use, and I think this will actually work quite nicely, the trapdoors. That covers up the mud as well, the dirt. You can do it there. Okay, I'm just gonna just like that. Paste that. That looks kind of cool. I quite like that. Now, on the inside, now how big are we going to make this? That's the question. I think the entrance needs to be quite big, and I actually might... Yeah, I might push this out, but just do it a little bit, so it's only got a gap of 3 instead to there. And again, just paste on that. So then we have a normal sized window in this part. And then put in that, yeah, I'll put in this here then. It's like a really little, kind of very small little room, something like that. Okay, so then we have that, and we can again, did I go down to, so maybe I need to go across by 5, so depending on the height of that. That's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out the exact kind of, well, not the exact sizing, but the rough sizing to do on these. And probably take that down an extra 1, like that. Okay, and I'm filling this behind, and then we can naturalize this hill quite easily. Give us a little bit more space to work with. And this one as well can go across like that. And of course that will go across like that. So if we then continue this, this kind of style I've gone for here is almost like a roof style, I guess. I guess you could call it a roof style. Now whether I cut into the hill there, I think so. So that when it turns, it actually does turn with the actual natural hill. So that's what I'm trying to do here. Put in that. And again, yep, paste in that. So still going with a slightly modular style, it's just that it's kind of changing depending on the actual, bits itself, I guess. Another window in there. Got the stairs here. And then we can put in a trapdoor right there. And then now if we naturalize this roof, I'll try to naturalize this roof without knocking in that one. There we go. And sort of at least give us some headway to building the interior little section anyway. Like that. There. Now, that is quite square on that side, so maybe I'll knock that down. Can we see that? Yeah, we can see that. I was hoping that somehow we had covered that one up, but obviously not. Okay, well, we can put that one in. I can put on the grass slab for now. I'm going to curve these in a bit and get a weird loading chunk. And cover this up, naturalize this hill. Okay. Right, so what I'm doing is I'm trying to make it look like it's always been there. So that kind of looks okay. It looks like it's got a bigger part on that section there. This looks a little bit too square. So I'm just going to add this out. Right, that's good. Maybe add a little bit like that. A little bit of variation. That looks pretty cool. That looks pretty cool though. So that's definitely in the hill. We've got again a very, very small section. What I could do on this side instead is... actually no, I was going to say I could put in a fireplace. Which yes I could do. And I do need to put in a fireplace. But I think this room, or this side, is a little bit too small because, yeah, there we go. If I was going to put the fireplace in there, the fire would be there. I think the next one, when we start building inwards, of course, Hobbit's holes being very inwards working, I guess. They need to have that. So, let's clear this out. And I would use World Edit for this, but I don't want to just take out a massive chunk of the mountain, which makes sense. So we've got 1, 2, and then 3. And by mountain, I mean hull. There we go. So that will give us that, and that'll bring us back to here. So if we make this section here pushed back, and the good thing about the Hobbit holes actually is because it is in a hole. Okay, you can see the grass there, but that's really nice actually. I didn't know that. You can see me using the meta stick as well. Right, so, and now this time I will use it because I know exactly where we are, but, or can I use it? No, of course I can't. Right, okay, if I go into multiplayer, put on chat shown, there we go. Let's grab, oh, I'm using a pickaxe anyway. Duh. Right. Yeah, I tried doing it with show just the commands, but it actually doesn't do what you think it will. There we go. So that's cleared out that. If I just turn the chat back up again. There we go. Yeah, if you do commands only, it still comes up with the chat because it's part of the plugins. Now, if I actually do this... No, I can't type. Okay. Well, now I'm going to have to do it, aren't I? But tell me what you think. If you're not too bothered by the chat being there, then I'll leave it. If not, I will hide it. I don't really mind personally, but it's up to you guys. So what I'm thinking of doing here, anyway, you can see that I'm clearing out these gaps behind it as well. I'm trying to think of the actual sections that I'm going to have. So I'm thinking of having this side as the actual kitchen, kind of dining area, as it were. And the reason being, I think it would work really nicely to have like a chimney coming out of this here. It then shows that there is, you know, an actual fireplace coming up. So I thought that would be quite cool. So if I just put down some lighting as well, just throw down for the time being. There we go, some lighting in there. I'm going to grab cobblestone. I think that makes more sense as a hobbity material that they might use. And I am going to push it back all the way to here. So then we have this in like that. It's going to be the back wall. Maybe even have the fire there so that it's coming out. We've got extra depth and we can do some very cool stuff. You know, possibly even do something like this, or I don't know. We'll see though. We'll see what kind of we can see what we can actually do. Go grab netherrack, grab steel. Oh, there we go. And make a fire. Okay. So if we did that, we'd have to cut through that, but that's okay. So that gives us that. That will go up through here. Which obviously already gives the particle effects. Then we want to just build a little fireplace type area. Like that. And then we can actually go up. So there we go. You can see that I'm just filling in these little gaps. And probably we can knock these two to the side. We can have the side ones there maybe. And this back one we can put down to here. And then block up that one. I'm actually going to use... There is a variation on stone brick. So if we grab that. And also... Possibly even... I think, yeah, also the cobblestone wool. There is a stone brick variation which is... that one. Which kind of looks like a chimney. And I'm not too sure about that block there. There we go. Not too sure yet. Not too sure about that yet. But we'll try. We'll try anyway. We try this. It definitely does not work. So, that's good. Maybe if we just do this and have slabs on the side. And then this one has a stair. And then we can try this. No, I don't think that works for this style anyway. At least. So, we could just put that straight on there. It's like a really kind of simple chimney. I'm actually going to go up one more possibly. Have a look at that. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. And I'm actually going to go with stairs, I think. They look a little bit nicer. And then we can just put in a slab there. There you go, that looks fine. That I'm happy with. So, what we're going to do now is we're going to choose a wind direction. And I actually need to choose a direction since this is my first build on the actual server. I'm going to go with northwest, and I'm going to do that for all of mine. And I usually go, especially with the smoke, go off at an angle. It's just always a good idea. It makes it look better, anyway. There we go. And you'll notice that I spam loads of wool. I mean loads of wool. And I'm going to have to turn chat back on. What I think I'll do is I'm just going to leave it on. It doesn't matter if it comes up. Now, on the server I do have access to the REPL command, so I'm just going to change that to 2, which is the Conquest smoke. So let's do this. Just replace all of these. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to cut them out. And this is the way that I do the smoke. I actually find it a lot easier. But you guys might find it, you know, kind of a bit different. There we go. Put in that. And, well, that's really thick smoke actually, isn't it? Still looks good though. But now what we're going to do is we're just going to cut off from this side, I'm going to just cut back a little bit so it's diminishing. Like that. And probably a bit here and here. Maybe. Let's have a look. Lots of smoke here. What's that look like? That's pretty good, I think. Maybe a little bit more here. And then take off some there. Yeah, that'll do. You don't have to be exact with it, but I think that looks okay. It's giving us a nice start to the house itself. Okay, so now that we've kind of made a proper start, what I think I'll do is I want to keep these episodes quite short. I don't want to make them really long, but I'm going to probably record a couple of them at a time. But if you guys have any suggestions or anything I should look at to try and get better styles and things, I think I'm still going to mess around with some of these. But I don't know, I'm going to have a quick look at other styles. I'll probably have a chat to see if Nick Goss has got any good ideas, because I know that he's got loads on the server. Maybe we can just do stuff like that. No, I like seeing the grass, actually. I like seeing the grass. But that's it for the first episode. Thanks for watching, everybody. Give me as much feedback as you can. It's my first time trying out this style, so I'm trying to get the basics done. I mean, I could do stuff like this and wrap it around. It makes it too big, I think. I don't know. I can always do this. I think probably I'll end up doing something like that. Yeah, I'm going to do that. So before I even go, I'm already editing little bits of the building anyway, and even pushing this back so that there. Push this hill back a little bit as well. Or not. Yeah, not. But thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you on the next episode.